So, looking on my YouTube channel, I have uploads from 7 days ago, 6 days ago, 4 days ago, 2 days ago, and 11 hours ago. And then there's probably going to be another video on the channel by the time you guys see this one. But I wanted to make this video and explain that the Planet Crafter took over my life, and that's not an exaggeration. A week ago when I started playing the game, I bought it when it launched into version 1.0, I spent £14 on this game, by the way. When it launched, I put 4 hours into the game. In one session, I did my review, and I gave this game a 10 out of 10. Now, after 43 hours of game time, almost 2 days worth of gameplay time, I am sticking to that 10 out of 10. This game was fantastic, and I've now seen essentially what we'll call the credits roll in. I have completed the game. And I want to say again, I've said it in a couple of videos recently, there is so much to do in this game, and 43 hours worth of gameplay time wasn't going in like full depth of the mammal system. It wasn't building massive bases or anything like that. 43 hours was actually kind of a rushed playthrough, if you want to call it that, because towards the end, basically I think I spent the first 13 hours on the game playing solo, and then for the final 30, Pete joined me, and we were doing 7 to 9 hour sessions every day. So we played for 3 or 4 days, something like that. And when we got towards the end of the game, we kind of started spamming rockets, because you can build rockets in this game, and each one you send up gives you a 1000% multiplier for one of your terraforming abilities. So oxygen, you can do plants, heat, pressure, so on and so forth. And when we got to the end of the game, we ended up sending 58 oxygen-based rockets. We had something crazy, over 2 billion ppq per second for oxygen production. It was insane, the amount we did, and it was a full-blown rush. I was out hunting for iridium. Pete was making the rods and the rocket engines and putting the rockets together and everything. And we absolutely smashed out the last, what probably should have been about 4 or 5 hours. We got it done in an hour's worth of gameplay, because we were just rushing around getting the rockets and sending them up, getting all the materials and stuff. But the whole time I played this game from start to finish, I thoroughly enjoyed it. There's maybe 1 or 2 things that I would say could be better. For an example, when you start putting food farms down, there's no way to get your drones to automatically harvest your food. You have to do it manually, which gets a little bit frustrating. And then at the very end, there's not really a story to it as such. It was more I think there was 3 still images, and each of them had a small text box at the bottom of the screen. So it gave some sort of a story, but there wasn't a lot, and there wasn't cutscenes or anything like that. But once you get back to the menu after finishing the game, I tried loading back in, and it was just a black screen. I had to Alt F4 to get the game off my computer, so I don't think you can actually go back into the world you've completed. I'm not entirely sure, something might have bugged, but when I tried, I went to a black screen. So if there were quality of life improvements in terms of making everything available to be automated, and if there was also, I'm going to say, if there was a better story to the ending. I think there are multiple endings to this game, I'm not entirely sure. But everything other than that is amazing. The only time I had issues in the game was about 3 or 4 times throughout the 43 hours. I had the game lock up, but when it locked up, it lasted for about 2 to 3 seconds, then it recovered straight away, and there were no issues after that. So besides those few lockups, besides the lack of automation for the farming for the food and stuff, and besides the end of the game lacking in terms of story and things like that, in my opinion, besides that, this game is incredible. And at its full price, it's going to cost you £20. So with a little bit of a discount, you can pick up 4 copies for the same price as a AAA game. But I grabbed it when it launched into 1.0. They had a 30% discount, so I paid £14 for it. So about $20, and I got 43 hours worth of game time out of it. And the thing is, normally when I play games, I sit there, I play, say I put 20, 30 hours, and I start getting bored. This game, I wanted more. I wanted more materials to show up. I wanted more crafting options to like become available through the blueprint screen and stuff. This game, even when you get to the very end, keeps you wanting more. And that's why every day for like 3 or 4 days, I was put in between like 7 and 9 hours into this game. I've had so much fun with it. I think this is actually one of the first games I've got to the credit screen for in the last couple of years, I'm going to say. I don't often fully complete games. If they're short, I'm more encouraged to complete them. I did the whole lot of Skull and Bones. I did Hogwarts Legacy. I did Dead Island 2. They're the most standout ones. I've probably done 2 or 3 more, but I don't often fully complete games, but this is one of the ones that I did. There is just so much to do. You start off in a barren wasteland. There's pretty much nothing, and you eventually get to the point where you don't need oxygen capsules anymore. Unless you go underwater, there is no oxygen consumption. You get mammals, you get frogs, you get butterflies, you get fish. There is so much to this game. We ended up having tier 2 containers for almost every resource in the game, and we managed to like fill them up. We had 30 drones in the end, all tier 2, going back and forth, doing supply and demand. We had fabric and pulsar quartz consistently going up in trade rockets so we could earn Terra tokens, so we could buy fuses for oxygen multipliers, energy multipliers and things like that. And we got to a stage where we had made so many pulsar quartz and sent them up, we didn't quite reach 100,000 Terra tokens earned, so that achievement is still locked for us. But we got close. I think it was like 90,000 we got to by the time we completed the game. But we had so much pulsar quartz being made and being sold that we ran out of osmium. So I went to the osmium mine. We ended up with 5 tier 3 extractors, all set up with drones for supplies. So that was bringing osmium back to our base. And I put a tier 2 machine optimizer down as well. And that had 3 production multiplier fuses in there. So it ended up being, we had like half a tier 2 container full of osmium. Literally within seconds, we would be full up again. So I would take out a whole tier 6 backpack full of them, create osmium rods, put them in the rod container, and then turn around and we'd be full up on osmium again. We was just farming so many materials, and that adds to your game time. You have to do exploring. We had a portal generator, which gives you these procedural wreckage sites. You use different colored quartz, and it takes you to a whole different, essentially, planet, and you have to go exploring. You can do this as many times as you want. Like, you have ultimate freedom in this game, and you don't have to use the final ship and end the game. You can just carry on playing without ever building that, and you can make your base gigantic. You can build bases in the sky. You can build bases wherever you want. There's just so much to this game, so much to explore, so much time to be spent, so much farming, automating. There's just like, this is, I'm going to say, the perfect game if you're looking for a survival game that has a lot of fun to it and is going to last you hours and hours. And the best thing is, it's not too expensive. £20 for 43 hours worth of gameplay that you're going to thoroughly enjoy from start to finish. You can't go wrong. But obviously you do have to be into this sort of game. I love my survival games. I love automation games. I love simulator games and things like that. So this is really my cup of tea anyway. But I've played a lot of those styles of games, and this one really stood out and is well optimized. It's just so much fun. As I said, it took over my life. I did 3 or 4 days in a row of putting between 7 and 9 hours into it, and I do not regret a second of it. If you have the opportunity to go out and buy this game, pick it up if you enjoy this style of game, because you will not regret it. I said it in my last video, these developers deserve all the praise. The game deserves to be shown even more love than it's already been shown. And depending on what else comes out throughout this year, I know the game released a couple of years ago, it's just launched into 1.0 this year, but basing it on its 1.0 release, which is 2024, depending on what else comes out this year, I would probably put this at least like top 3 for Game of the Year. If there's nothing else that really stands out for the rest of the year, the Planet Crafter 1.0 will be my Game of the Year. It's that good. So yeah, my initial review after 4 hours of gameplay, 10 out of 10. I stick to that after 43 hours of gameplay and full game completion. You even have the ability when you get to the mammal section to place down animal shelters, place down feeders, and then you get all of the different DNA strands. You get to deal with their size, their pattern color, if they're bioluminescent, the different species they can be, the different color patterns. You get to choose color A and B, so you get to change 2 of their colors, like their primary colors. It's just such a good game. But that is the story for me and the Planet Crafter. 43 hours of game time, enjoyed every second of it. I stick to my 10 out of 10. A massive, massive well done to the developers. They've done such a good job with this game. And what we are going to do is leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about the game in the comments. I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.